This is the third part of this lesson. That seems to be at least a double lesson, maybe even more. And we're still proving congruency. And this last question, again, is more typical to what sort of stuff you'll see in a test. So we've got two triangles that are kind of sharing a side in between them. And we'll need to prove the congruency and a few other things later. So look at the triangle. What is the size of B2? Now B1, look, what does this square mean? Okay, we came across that a few times this week and last week. That means B1 is 90, right? So how can I calculate B2? Okay, I know that B2 plus 90, that's B1, okay? What will be the sum of these two angles together? Correct, it's going to be 180, isn't it? And what's the reason going to be? I'm just going to erase this one, okay? What's going to be the reason for that? Adjacent angles on the line. Okay? Or sum of adjacent angles on the line. Okay, remember that's the basic stuff, probably the first thing we do. Okay? So that means we just have an equation for B2. B2 is equal 90. Okay, just minus 90. Okay? That's the first part. That was A. Yeah? Okay. B. Now they want me to prove that triangles are congruent. And again, they write down which triangle are congruent. And maybe that's how we will start because it's a bit difficult. But I'll already now, with you on the build-up, there's two triangles that are congruent. And let's think about them. Now, I know that this is 90 as well. So we've got two sides, or two angles that are the same. I've got a pair of sides that are equal. Okay, you can see AD equal DC. Okay? So I've got one side and one angle. I need one thing else. I need another angle or another side. Okay? Now, do I have another angle that is equal? Actually, there is. And that's why they ask you to prove that in two different ways. Okay? Let's start with that. If these two sides are equal, what does it tell you about these two angles? They also must be equal, aren't they? Angles or equal angles opposite equal side. So what I can write down now, I can say angle A is equal to angle C, and the reason is going to be equal to, okay, equal angles opposite equal sides. Okay? I should really also say here, maybe before that, I should say the two sides that are equal is AD equal to DC. Okay, let's just do it properly. Save a minute, all right. Okay, so what I've written here, first of all, I got to say AD equal DC. Why? Because it's given. And then I got to say, okay, the angles opposite then, A and C are equal because it's equal angles opposite equal side. Okay, now I've got two pairs of angles are the same. B2 is equal to B1. These two angles are the same. These two angles are the same. And one side that is equal to each other. So I can already write down the triangle that is going to be. The two triangles are identical or congruent. And I can already say the reason for that is SAA. Okay? So I've got two pair of angles are the same and one side. Okay? But now the hard bit is to write down the triangle that are equal. You can kind of see it that, and let's start with the B. Okay? So let's start with the triangle on the left. Give it a green color. Okay? So I'm going to say B, A, D. Okay, bad. B, A, D. Now what triangle is that congruent to? Okay? So B2 equal to B1. So I must start with B here as well. Now angle A is going to be equal to angle C. So the next letter I got to do C. And the last one is BD. So BAD is congruent to BCD. I know this is a hard bit, but with time, by the end of this week, hopefully it will make more sense. If you're not happy with that, just give me a call on the WhatsApp and we'll talk about that. Okay? Now that was one way of proving these congruency of this triangle. They asked for two. Okay? Here we chose one side, which was equal, and two angles. But there's another way. Check this. Okay? We could have said, okay, we know that B1 is equal to B2, okay, given. I'm going to put 2 here in one way. So that was just one reason. Now I could have said, okay, I also know that AD equal DC, just like I did here. So far I didn't do anything different. AD equal DC, okay, given. But now, instead of looking for another angle as the same, I can also say, look, DB is common. Okay, DB is common. I'm just going to write D. Where is he? Yeah. Okay, so I can write, I'll just do it as a reason. I'll write BD is equal to itself. BD is obviously equal to itself because it's a common side. So now what do I have? I have two sides and an angle. And it works out that the two sides are equal. Okay? I didn't do that. No. So hang on, just pause here for a second. Okay, right. So I've got a common side. I've got a side here that is equal to itself. I've got another side that is equal to itself. But now I've got a problem. I've got one more angle that is equal to itself. Okay, B1 is equal to B2. But check this out. The angle here is not between the two sides. Okay, this is one side, this is the other side. The angle that is equal to each other is not in between. I don't know that D2 is equal to D1. But that angle is 90 degrees. So there is a reason, remember, RHS. So I can say that these triangles, okay, are congruent. Okay? They have two sides that are equal. That is equal to itself. That is equal to itself. Okay? And an angle which is not in between, but it is 90 degrees. Only because it's also 90 degrees, then I can use that RHS. If it wasn't 90 degrees, then I wouldn't be able to use that, and I couldn't say for sure that they're congruent. Okay? So that was question B. Okay. Now in C, they're asking me, prove that BD bisect angle D. Okay? This is again a typical thing. After you prove congruency, then you use the congruency to prove something else. So what does it mean bisect? I think we did mention that. BD bisect angle D means they want to show me, they want me to prove that the angle D1 is equal to angle D2. That means bisect. Bisect means splits this angle D, the big angle D, into two equal parts. Now, how can I tell that D1 is equal to D2? Very simply, because these two triangles now are congruent. Okay? I'll give that a red. Okay? So the green triangle is congruent to the red triangle. That means those two angles are the same. Those two angles are the same. But it also means that D1 is equal to D2. So we're going to write D1 equal to D2. And we need to give a reason. And the reason is going to be basically just to copy that. Not that. Copy that. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay? What is the reason? That these two triangles are congruent. But I can't just say because the triangle is congruent. I need to write which triangle. Okay? Triangle BAD congruent to triangle BCD. Okay? That means those two angles are equal. And therefore, BD bisect D. Okay? If these two angles are equal, that means this line bisect D. End of story. Okay, long lesson, and now you need to implement that by going through exercise 4. I'm going to give you, it might be like 3 lessons just to do this whole exercise, okay? I'll see you in the next lesson.